this song. Hold on, just gotta vibe for a second. White girl dancing. Everybody, what's going on? Happy Tuesday. So, back with another video. I want to talk about aging baby. So, before I begin, these are my Solberry gloves. Shout out to Solberry. These are not sponsored. Nothing on my channel is sponsored. I buy these bad boys with my own money. So this is UPF 50. I rock driving gloves. I'm gonna have a video on that because I feel like a lot of people don't even know that they still exist and why people would rock driving gloves. But you know, my hands are on the steering wheel a lot. Sun hits my hands. I get age spots, so it helps with that. It helps with when I put lotion on. It protects from like the sun frying out the lotion. Anyway, awesome, love it. But today's video is gonna be a little different. I actually really wanted to talk about aging and how it gets better as you get older. Now, society is extremely toxic, especially to women over the age of 25. But I will say that it's everyone, right? Everyone feels like when they're over 30, they're old, whatever. And before I begin, this video is not a coping video by another woman that is mad that she's not 18, right? Another 30-something-year-old woman that is coping and seething, as the Reddit trolls would like to say, that she's not a teenager. Let me tell you something. I feel like I'm far older than I am because my life has been compacted with just so much over the last 37 years. And, you know, I'm grateful for all the experience, bad, good, and indifferent, right? But I just wanted to give this video because I wanted to kind of share a different perspective. I know that in life, people value youth, right? It's a beautiful thing. They always say youth is wasted on the young, right? Because as you get older, you know more, and you just don't have the body to back it up, right? The health and vitality. But I know people that are very full of vitality, well into their 70s, literally, like just lots of life. You ever see those runners, you know, like that are just, they're friggin' 70, 80, they don't give a damn what anybody thinks. They're doing the damn thing, you know what I'm saying? That's vitality right there. But I know that society puts so much value on youth because obviously we all have an expiration date. Death comes for us all. But what a lot of people don't seem to realize is that it's not a situation or something that happens that's reserved for the old. It happens at all ages, unfortunately, right? If we could say death happens when you're 70, 80, then of course you're going to want to really value being young because you're like, oh man, well at least I'm far away from 70 or 80, right? But like in my life, I've lost people young. You know, my brother-in-law died when he was 29. My father died when he was 57. I know 13-year-olds who might see this video might be like, oh, 57's old. Oh, it's not old. It's not old. It's not. You know, and I think because of my losses in my life, it's always been a thing that I've looked at, especially with older people that they're not even that old. They're 50, 60, and they're like, oh, it's end for me. I literally, someone at my other job I was working at, he's 42, and he's like, oh, it's over for me. What do you mean? What? It's over? You're middle age. What do you mean it's over? You know what I mean? What if you live till 80? What if you live till 90? You know what I'm saying? What do you mean it's over? You know, what, because you're looking at Instagram and you're comparing yourself to all of, you know, give me a break, right? Ridiculous. But in our heads where it's almost like we're programmed to only be valued for such a short period of time in our life. And it's crazy because everyone, if they're lucky, ages. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. When you look at it from a reproductive standpoint, yes. In my personal opinion, I had my kids in my 20s. There's an argument for having your kids younger, but the other hand, like everything else, you know, yin and yang, or not yin and yang, but there's pros and cons, right? It's very hard for me, you know? And even like in my 30s now, like I have a career in the trades, you know, I'm a plumber. Like it's not easy, you know what I mean? Whereas like I know women that are 20 years older than me with kids my age, but multimillionaires, you know, like it just depends on what you're looking at. But even with that, your life is yours to live and yours to live alone, you know? And it's not something that, the comparison thing is just, it's so like bled into our society where we don't feel like we're enough because we measure ourselves against somebody that we deem as better or whatever. But when it comes to aging, it's like we're all aging unless you're dead and then you're not doing anything. Now, one thing that I have in my head before I actually jump into the topic of this video, which is why I believe it gets better as you get older, I have this thing in the back of my head. Every time I pass a cemetery, I always look like one day I'll be there. Actually, I want to be planted in the Serengeti, you know, and have a bunch of lions under my huge tree, right? But that's really like how I want to be buried, but that's a morbid topic. But every time I pass a cemetery, I think about all the dreams and aspirations of the people that are dead, right? And I always do like, you know, I always do that for roadkill, for cemeteries, for memorials on the side of the road. But I will say that time goes so fast, and it's cliche, but it's true. Time goes like this. Time goes so fast. Like even my father passed away. He's gone. We just had Father's Day, 17th Father's Day that he's been gone. And he passed away May 14th, 17 years ago. And I can remember how blue his eyes were yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he died when I was 20. So it's approaching in a couple of years that he'll be, you know, maybe only 5 years. He'll be gone longer than he was in my life. You know what I mean? Like I lived longer than he was. You know what I'm talking about. He'll be gone longer than he was in my life, right? But I bring all that up to say this: like life is fleeting, and the fact that we put so much emphasis on youth and we cast away the rest of the other age group classes. You know, people walking around being older, being ashamed. Are you crazy? You made it. You made it. But when I see an older person, I'm like, you have such a level of respect for me that no one else could get. You know, you're 80-something years old. You have such a level of respect for me. That's why I always want to like slapbox people when I see that they don't leave a door open for someone, for an older person coming in, or give them their seat, or give them their cart, or walk them across the street. Like, I'll literally trample someone like to help an older person out, especially a veteran. My father was a Vietnam veteran, and I have a very sore, sensitive spot rather for veterans. My brother was a veteran, but anyway, I believe that as you get older, it gets better in life, and there's a few reasons. There's many reasons, but a few of them I'm just going to share with you now. The first, I actually wrote this down, is you have more experience in your life. You have far more experience than when you were younger. Think about a physician, right? I'm going to use an example with my actual physician. So I see a naturopath doctor, and he is a gentleman of age. He's close to 80 now. But this man was a regular physician for 30 years, standard AMA physician, did everything by the book, American, you know, whatever, American doctor, right? Put into that box, he was an American doctor. And then he found a better way. And then he started to treat more holistically. Now, he's not, as a naturopath, he's not like, he didn't start out as a naturopath. He started as a regular doctor, and now he's a naturopath. This man is a genius. There is nothing that I can ask this man that he can't answer in both the holistic sense and the standard American doctor sense. All right, so this cat, Pepper, is just gonna come in. Hello, sir. Don't go on my smoothie now. But he could only have gotten to that status because of his age, because of his experience. And in life, as we get older, we have experience that you simply cannot fake. You can't flex for the gram experience that you don't have. Think about sailing, right? My daughter, she's into sailing. She's so eager to learn about sailing, and she's so, you know, when people hear she's a sailor, like, oh, that's so cool, and this, that, and the third. And I think it's awesome. I think it's a great hobby to be in. But when you look at her and what she knows now, and then you look at someone that's been sailing for 50 years, it's like, I love my daughter to pieces, but I want to talk to the person that's been doing it for 50 years. And I tell her, I'm like, always talk to someone who's older than you. Like, in my head, I'll say this, I'm very biased in the opposite sense. Like, for example, my midwife, amazing woman, one of the best people I know, she had a lot of flack. She's a traditional midwife. She's a total badass. And she delivered all three of my daughters. Well, I delivered them, but she helped. But she was never told anyone her age. And a couple of years ago, she told me her age. And she said it as if she was ashamed. She's like, people, sorry, this cat, I'm allergic to cats. She's like, people will judge me. Please don't tell them my age. I'm like, you're a complete powerhouse. What do you mean people are going to judge you? They're going to judge you on what? All the amazing births, labor, and deliveries. She was on The Baby Story, TLC. She was their star, Barbara Charles. Like, incredible, incredible, incredible woman. I'm sorry, buddy. You got hair all up in my eye. I can't. Not right now. I'll brush you in a little while. Pepper's trying to make an appearance. He was the cat that was once homeless that is now very much not homeless, making me feel homeless because he's always sleeping in my spot. Anyway, sorry. So so Barbara Charles, she's an incredible woman. And I remember with my youngest daughter, make it very, very fast because I'm kind of going on a tangent. I was having a threatened labor, and these doctors are coming in, these young doctors, and they're kind of poo-pooing my midwife, right? And the head nurse, head top dog that could have called a C-section at any point, she didn't. And she never did. And the doctors, when my midwife left the room, came up to me, I was in distress, and was trying to talk me into getting a C-section. Now, we didn't do any of the prepping or anything like that, like to see if I'd be able to handle a C-section. And I pretty much had to sign a paper saying if I died mid-surgery, it was because it was to save my daughter, right? So it was like it was so traumatic for me. It took me years to get over. But the only reason why I bring that all up is because she knew that I was so close. I didn't need it. And she comes in the room and I literally give birth, right? Which was crazy. And those doctors are nowhere to be found because they weren't experienced. They weren't skilled. They didn't have the knowledge set. You know what I'm saying? Like she did. So anyway, like I don't even want to deal with, professionals in that way unless you're at least 60 years old. Like don't come at me with your fancy diplomas, with your Instagram accounts, with your pictures, with whatever. Like your quotes or whatever, right? Your blogs. Don't come with me at that. Come with me with experience and your age. That's how I feel about it. So anyway, as you get older, you get better, you get more experience, you get more knowledgeable, and you have more wisdom of the world. I had an old boss of mine. He was, before I joined the union, this gentleman named Richie. He runs a machine shop out here on Long Island, and he's one of the most brilliant men I've ever met. And he's a gentleman in his 80s. And I remember he told me one time that how hard it was, that there was I used to hire people, and I used to do the interviews and things like that. And they had these young guys come in, the way that they would just even talk to him is like, okay, old man, I got it, right? But they would do the work and they'd suck, right? And I remember Richie telling me one time, he's like, the worst part about getting older is that there was like a big Bobcat machine we were doing. I think it was like a bulldozer. And this guy was like, just coming in, swinging himself around. He's this, that, and the third. And he's like 40-something years old. And he comes in and he's like, trying to work on this stuff, and he's like, there's no way to do it. There's no way we can do it. He's underneath the machine, whatever. And Richie told me, he was like, the worst thing is that I know I can disassemble and reassemble that 5 times before he can solve the problem. He's like, but I just can't get on my knees. I can't move my body. But he has everything upstairs. Sharp as a tack. This man is sharp as a tack. Sharp as a tack. Not even kidding. He still is. He still is. And he's he's a lot older. But it's just interesting because, our bodies, as we get older, yes, you have to work really hard at maintaining a good, physique and just good health and good posture. And, you really want to stay on top of that. But it's not impossible. It's not impossible. But what you accrue up here is priceless. It's priceless. And I remember telling him he wanted me to buy his shop. And I was like, Richie, I don't, he's like, I wish I could take what I know and just put it in your head. But it's experience, it's years, it's doing, it's being in it. It takes time, and time you cannot buy, time you cannot sell, you cannot trade. It happens, it's fleeting. And that's why as you get older, it's so valuable. Like you're such a valuable person when you're older. And I wish that more people didn't think that they were wasted. I'm wasted. I'm an old man. I'm an old lady. No, you're full of wisdom, right? Like there needs to be a cultural shift in our society that puts more just emphasis on the elderly, on older people, like you made it. All of us are dying. None of us are getting out of this alive. And the fact that people think that, death is reserved for the old, they're seriously, mistaken. They're seriously mistaken. So another benefit, or as it gets better as you get older, is your relationships with people. You know, I wish that I could go back and really like not be so self-conscious, not be so shy with certain people, and really foster relationships. Now I meet people, even like on my YouTube channel, like there are people that I comment with that I genuinely feel like, oh my God, like we could be friends, you know? I just am so much more of a go-getter, you know, and so much more like my relationships. There are people that I've known for decades that our friendship is just so deep. It's like the ocean deep, you know, like they know different sides of me and different personalities and different phases of my life. You know what I mean? There's just a beauty in that. And as you get older, these friendships can only get that way because of time. Because as time goes on, your friendship strengthens, your confidence in meeting new people strengthens, and it's just something that you can't fake, you can't buy. Again, it's not, it either comes to you or it doesn't, or as time goes on, you get more confident. These are, you know, the things that make the essence of life so special, especially as you get older. There's a beauty in aging, right? Like we all have different phases of our life, from when you're young, from your middle, you know, adolescence, when you're an adult, when you're an older adult. These are all phases that we'll all go through. Life humbles us all. Don't let the gram fool you. It humbles us all. It does. So we have worldly view, more experience, your friendships are deep, even relationships, that goes into your relationships. Some people holding down 30, 40, 50-year marriages. I mean, that's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And then also as you get older, you know, you can have maybe a marriage that's 15, 20 years and you realize, you know, this really isn't working out. And then you can separate, right? You can make a move, right? Or you can strengthen the marriage, or you could do, you know what I mean? Like you can, as you get older, you can use your tools of your experience to better your relationships, get away from relationships that don't serve you, and find other relationships that may be better for you. It's just, it's just a beautiful thing, really. Like, and you can see whose value in your life really means, like who you value or who values you, and what it really means, you know, in your life to have these certain people there, you know, as opposed to like in high school where, you know, it's, you know, you have hundreds of friends, and then when you hit 30, it's like, well, I only got like 4 friends, you know, but 4 quarters over 100 pennies every day. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you find out what matters more as you go through life. You find the people who you really want to be around with, and you hit set points where you're like, all right, like, what am I going to do? Who am I around? And what do I want to be when I grow up, right? Even if you're 50, you know, 60, you're like, oh, what do I do when I grow up? You know, like, it's a beautiful thing. You can always constantly change, evolve, and as long as you got a heartbeat, you know? Another thing is confidence. Confidence. Sorry, I thought it was going to sound better. Confidence, baby. Confidence. I wish I had the confidence that I have now, which isn't a lot, but it's a lot more than I had when I was a kid. You know, when I went through true OCD, not like people who fake to have OCD, which is so triggering for me, but I went through true OCD, Tourette syndrome, crippling anxiety. I feel like a lot of people have anxiety, but I was so like self-conscious. I was so self-conscious. I remember I just was a self-harmer. I was just so like ashamed of myself, and like, you know, I look back to myself and I wish I could just give myself a hug and be like, girl, like chill, you know what I mean? Like, relax. It's okay. You know, people are going to judge you anyway. Give them something to judge, you know? Dude, I was going to say dude. I'm sorry. I just got out of work a little while ago. See, that's the thing. Different personalities for where I'm at, you know what I mean? In my day. But, you know, so one thing that's funny is that, so I'm in plumbing school. A lot of people know that watch my channel. And I'm sorry, this is, just a side note, I make YouTube videos because I enjoy making them, but I'm not someone that's like cutting, editing, making, you know, songs. And I work, like I pay my bills that way. I just like making YouTube videos to meet people. You know, it's like my biggest thing. And just to kind of network and share my life, whatever, right? But anyway, so I'm in plumbing school and I get along with everyone in my class, but they're all trained. They're all trained to turn their barcodes, you know? They all know my little things, you know? So when they want to be little smart asses, they might turn a barcode towards me. It's really funny. It's really funny. Because as soon as I turn a barcode towards them, then they're offended. It's like, whoa, wait, why are you pointing it at me, you know? But there's a confidence that comes in that. I'm 37 years old. When I was 17, I was ashamed, you know? I was so embarrassed. And, you know, I would smoke pot to try to, like, numb that, and it didn't help, you know what I mean? Like, it was just crazy. But as you get older, you get more confident. You have more knowledge. You have deeper relationships. Things are just better. You enjoy life more. You enjoy your hobbies. You might find things that you were scared to get into when you were younger. Now you're like, you know what? Maybe I do want to play the banjo. Maybe I do want to become a mime. I don't know. Or is that mime? Like those little like clowns that are like quiet. I forgot what they're called. Maybe I do want to like sail around the world or go to Costa Rica or start a podcast or write a book. Maybe I do want to do these things. And it's because I want to say there's a sense of, not urgency, but you know the time is ticking. And when you have more time behind you than you do in front of you, you start to realize you have one life to live. You have one life. Stop worrying about what other people think about you. Truly, stop. And I think the beauty of getting older is that you do stop. But that comes at a price, you know? So for anybody that's watching this video, I hope that it motivates you to not be ashamed to get older, you know? Like really, it's not, again, not coping, not anything other than the fact that you're acknowledging that life is fleeting, that it is very fast and every single person gets humbled. And it's really important to acknowledge that and to acknowledge that we're mortals and there is no, you know, fountain of life or fountain of youth rather, and that we all age and there's nothing wrong with that, truly. Find what matters for you in your life and stick to that. And I think for all the older people that I've talked to, a lot of them are very motivating for me because it's easy to say at 37, which some people would be like, oh, Mary had their own comments about that. But at 37, it's easy for me to say, you know, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. 67, it's 30 years from now. How will it look then? Well, I can tell you one thing is that for about the last 10 years, I've had it in my head that, you know, we're all mortals. And, well, for my whole life I knew that. But, you know, death comes for us all. And I'm not going to push things off anymore. I'm not going to push things off that I want to do in my life. And I just hope, and I believe that maybe with some reservations that I have now, by 67, God willing, I live that long, I won't have those reservations. And I'll be like, life is what you make it. Truly, life is what you make it. You know, we can't all be extremely successful, have a lot of money, have all the freedom in the world, but we can do our best. We can be the best that we can be, you know, and that can lead us into a good life and, you know, happy retirement years and things like that. Society's scary because I know a lot of people are trying to prepare and the retirement age moving and everything like that. But what I will say is that there needs to be an appreciation for the elders in our society. And I'm really talking to people 65 and up. Because there's not enough emphasis put on the fact that they are very important. That, you know, people always talk about boomers and things like this. Just stop with the segregation and the nonsense and like just the hate. And it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me, truly crazy to me. But if you're watching this and you're an older person, you know, you made it. You made it. I know many people that have died in their teens and 20s. You know, unfortunately, I knew people dropping dead around me when I was a teenager. Drug overdose, you know, shootings. I knew somebody that died from a shooting. Somebody killed themselves, jumped in front of a train. Wasn't a good friend of mine, but it was my best friend. It was an ex-boyfriend of hers. So, I mean, these are like babies. Guy around the corner from my house, 22 years old, got into a fight with his girlfriend, jumped in front of the train. My husband literally saw it. He didn't see him jumping in, but he saw him on the ground and said it looked like he was missing part of him. And it's just horrible, horrible. Death comes for us all. I think that's the thing. And I'll just leave it off at this. I know I'm kind of rambling, but every time I talk to somebody and they're always like, oh, it's over for me, I try to smack it out of them. It's not over for you. It's not over until you stop breathing. It's not over until you meet your maker. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. It's not over until it's over, you know? You can always regroup. You can always revamp. You can always pivot. You can always kick the bucket, as they used to say in jiu-jitsu, and start over. You can. And that's a beauty that I feel like a lot of older people have, because I've met people that have had 3 or 4 lives, you know? Oh, my first wife or my second wife, or they have so much going on. Now, I'm not saying with divorce and marriage. I'm just saying, like, they have different phases of their life. Like, I know one guy that was, you know, like I mentioned earlier with being a doctor, but he was also in Tel Aviv for years, you know? So he's like a whole lineage in you know, Israel, and like, you know, just different lives. And even my midwife Love her to pieces, Barbara Charles. She literally delivered babies in the Congo with a stethoscope. I mean, what a absolute badass. What a badass. I want that woman. Get this person who's over there reading documents. I don't need you over here. I need the woman who delivered babies with a stethoscope in the Congo with no help, with nobody there but her. She was the expertise, and she had a couple little helpers with her. That was it. You're in the middle of freaking Serengeti. You know what I mean? Like, you're literally in the middle of, you know, lion territory. You know what I'm saying? Like, crazy. Like, that's what I'm saying. I want to talk to the people that are rich in life, that have experience, that know a lot of things. Even like talking to like an older postal service worker, you know, the drama that you would hear from back in the day, you know, just like crazy stuff. I talk to people. I used to run, my uncle, he's in his 80s, and I used to talk to him about when he worked for like Bell Atlantic. You know what I mean? If people even know what Bell Atlantic is, or like Lolco, or like if you're from Long Island, like, there's just, everybody always talks about the Grumman buildings. Like these are people that remember things. Like I know a gentleman who's still working, he's in his 70s. I keep telling him, I'm like, you got to stop working. And he's like, if I stop working, I'm going to die. I'm like, so if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. But this man was a drummer. This man had his own business. This man had a real estate company. He lost a child. Like, this guy has lived so much. The respect I have for this man, that's what we need to have in society. Respect your goddamn elders. Stop glorifying these 19-year-old influencers on the friggin' gram, on TikTok, on Snapchat, on all these places, because it's like, okay, that's great. You're beautiful. Congratulations. Let me talk to the man who was a regular doctor for 30 years and now he's a naturopath. Please, I want to pick your brain. Or the pediatrician in Manhattan that literally talks like he's an encyclopedia. Like, the guy can literally, you have a conversation with him. Oh, there was an article done in 1987 about this. It's like, the man is absolutely a genius. Completely brilliant. Brilliant. These are the people I want to talk to. This is what happens when you age. You get better when you age. People age like fine wine. That's the fact. Their mind, like, if they're lucky, right? Because you do have Alzheimer's and things like that. But if you take care of yourself, take care of your body, being the only vessel that you have, you take care of your mind, you know, wine can only get so good because it ages. Let's start thinking a little differently now. You're somebody, you're special. Stop thinking you're invisible, because I notice you. I want to talk to you. You know what I mean? If you're an older person and you have something to share, like, share it with me. Share it in the comments below. I don't give a damn. I'm a damn plumbing apprentice. What the hell do I care? I'm not judging anybody. I'm looking for freaking clout. You know what I mean? Like, looking to meet people. I just had a video on Long Beach, drama in Long Beach, and I'm going to meet with a guy who wants to become a mayor. Like, that's what I'm talking. This is life, baby. This is life. But anyway, I'll let you guys go. I'm almost at 30 minutes, and my battery's going to die. But, yeah. It gets better as you get older. There's a lot of reasons. I left a lot of things out because I have ADHD. But I will say that I believe it does. And life is just incredible.